Dr. Mkhize, let's look at what you might do should you become president of the ANC and possibly leader of South Africa. Some people are talking about radical economic transformation as if it's something new in ANC thinking, but it was on the policy table in 2012. And it begs the question, what has the ANC been doing about it for the past 5 years? Is there a piece of policy or a piece of legislation or an intervention that you think exemplifies successfully what the ANC means to achieve by radical economic transformation? Well,
I think it's a good starting point to say that radical economic transformation was actually a policy decision of the African National Congress. Mm-hmm. It had to do with an evaluation over the 20 years in power to say the most outstanding issue is around, inequality, poverty, and unemployment that is rising and is affecting the quality of life that our people are leading. And from that point of view, whatever else we could have achieved, it is clear that we have to begin to focus on the economy. I would say that maybe not a lot has been done in that regard, because we've always been talking about, let's go into more details as to what will be involved in here, beyond the definition. And this way, I think it's taken a bit of a while, so that the terminology has kind of surfaced a lot more now as though it was something new.
A lot of people would say, why are you going round and round, having the same old conversations with the same old people, while business as usual continues to be business as usual? Because it raises the deeper political question as to whether the sudden appearance of large banners saying radical economic transformation is just that, rhetoric.
I don't think it's rhetoric.
Yes.
I think that a lot more work needs to be done on the matter. But I think what we may not be realizing is that the economic aspect of our lives was never given as much attention during the time of transition. So you didn't have much of discussions, codesas, we didn't
yes.
go into the details of the extent to which people are excluded. We didn't even discuss about, even if the laws have been removed, but how there are informal networks inside various corporations and systems that exclude our people with unwritten rules. The fact that you still have our people out there who still can't get access to finance because they are in the black townships, they are in the yes. informal settlement. And all of those issues are issues that are very deep. They require us to be focused in dealing with them.
Or decisive. I mean, you could argue, yes, 2012, the term radical economic transformation finds its way into the ANC policy lexicon. But 5 years before that, President Jacob Zuma comes in with a largely left-leaning alliance propelling him to power. In 8 years, it seems to me, unless I stand to be corrected, he has not, his government, put on the table one piece of legislation that fundamentally changes the economic lie of the land in South Africa. Would I be wrong in saying that? And if I'm wrong, please tell me what the law is.
Well, no, I can't say that there's a specific law. But one thing that I think can, for example, see, as part of even putting this into effect, you would have seen how we've had a competition commission around for a while, but it began to be more aggressive
yes.
of late, dealing with more of the anti-competitive behavior, basically targeting monopolistic, conduct, which is excluding a lot of smaller players. That is one area that you can, for example, talk about. But I must say as well that I think we need to do a lot more. We could have still done a lot more. So when we talk about the need to do, more in terms of transforming our economy, we need to get the conversation with those who control the economy. So all of this means the people who control must be engaged.
But Dr. Mkhize, what you're doing for me here, it seems to me, is you're describing the problem and you're not
yes.
telling me what you, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, potentially President Zweli Mkhize, would do about it.
Because you asked the question that way. Now, here, my issue would be that you need to, when you deal with the economy, you need to focus on how do we get growth
yes.
in the whole, in the whole economy. It's going to be very, very important. And when you focus on growth, you must therefore make sure that there's enough jobs growing at the same time, so that you don't just have investments that are increasing, but there are no jobs created. At the same time, we need to then go sector by sector to say, how do we bring in the new players here? How do we bring in the new industrialists? And how do we make sure that the financial services sector invest on new entrepreneurs, they invest on new industrialists? That's the discussion that we're currently going on right now. But you must also know that those who control the economy are not sitting here and are saying, okay, come and transform the economy. Yes. They also have their own pushbacks. We have black economic empowerment regulations, but you still find that there are a lot of companies that just tick the boxes and are not transforming on the side. So it does require an engagement. You need both the commitment on those who control the economy. Of course, you do need policies that must steer and guide the process of transformation. But at the end of the day, yes, we have to be conscious that it's not only just government. You need the private sector to come on board for government to be able to say, this you can do without a regulation. And then, of course, must still keep the policy options to force the situation where we're not able to get the outcomes.
I want to return, Dr. Mkhize, to our conversation on corruption. You referred to it as challenges, you referred to it as weakness. There are some people who would say the only word that is appropriate for this is these are crimes. And I want to quote to you something else you said. It's only a few who are accused. It's up to the rest who are not corrupt, who must rise up so that people can see that the corrupt are the exception, not the norm. Is it your view that these are challenges and weaknesses, or should some people be prosecuted and should some people be going to jail? And that may well include some people who are in the highest ranks of government.
Well, when you say challenges and weaknesses, we are talking broad generalities. When you talk corruption, there are not two ways of describing it. Corruption, fraud is crime. There you need action. There you need, both in terms of the government and the party and even private sector, systems that must allow us to act early enough to prevent it, but secondly, to be decisive in acting on those who are found to be involved in corruption. And there shouldn't be any limit as to who can be acted upon. Anyone who can be found to be involved must be acted upon.
Is it too late? Have we left it too late? Have we allowed this to become our political and national way of life?
No, I don't think it's late. And I think that society in general will have to be continuously vigilant. You build on the systems and people learn through the lessons of the hard punitive acts that they would have seen. When there are enough examples to show that people who are involved in corruption can be investigated, can be acted upon, then people will know that, as the old saying goes, crime does not pay. But if we're slow, well, I think
at the moment,
I think we must never give up, and we must never say, well, we've seen so much corruption, we must give up. I don't think so. I think we must be determined to say, let us deal with it until everybody understands. And it's not difficult. I think it's something that just needs determination and is focus.
I want to finish, Dr. Mkhize, by offering you 3 wishes. What do you hope happens at the elective conference in December? What's your wish for that?
I wish that we must have a conference that must be able to take the decisions to build our economy, build our country, take it forward. At the same time, be peaceful, orderly, and you get a leadership that will display the amount of credibility and respect that will generate confidence into the ANC from the general public and the whole country.
What's your wish for the small rural communities like the one you grew up in?
My wish is that out of this conference, we should have programs that will go into each and every village so that all the children that are growing up there are able to say, irrespective of how rural their homes are, but they can match the children who come from urban settings with access to ICT so that their education, quality of their education is just as good.
Zweli Mkhize, what's your wish for yourself?
Well, that I be elected into the leadership of the African National Congress and lead with people who are going to make a huge difference and take our country forward.
Thank you very much for giving us your time on Under the Skin.
Thank you.